The verdict of a case filed by a customer against the company was declared on 15/5/2020, and accordingly, rupees 550,000 was paid on this date as the full settlement of the claim. This case was filed on 1st/12/2019, and the provision recognized in this regard as at 31st/3/2020. Based on the company lawyer's opinion, is shown in the trial balance. The financial statements of the company were authorized for issue by the board of directors on 15/6/2020. Now, let me take a timeline for you guys to show how it works. Let me move on to my workings area to show you guys how it happens. This is customer complaint. I'll take this working thing. Customer provision or customer complaint, just for your knowledge, guys. Okay, these things are not compulsory, not a compulsory thing. So I'll write they're not compulsory, but it's better if you know this, because there's no big adjustment for this, but you know how it works. Now I'll take a timeline. I'll show you how it works, guys. So let me take this as a timeline. I'm going to put few shapes in between. One here. Then I have one here. Then I have one here. Okay, easy as that. So I have done almost everything. So now I just wanted to break down how it works. Now see the same case study. I'm going to read it. A verdict of a case filed by a customer against the company was declared on 15/5. So there's a important information that the customer has made a case complaint, but that you might know that this customer will become in trouble. Because of that, they are said that 550,000 was paid on this date as settlement of the claim. The case was filed on 1st/12/2019. So I'm going to move on to the adjustment. I'm going to write 1st/12/2019. You got this case, you got to know about the case and you are making a provision. You're going to speak about provision. Okay, so I'll write here 1st/12/2019. Now see the question. Again, they're saying that the provision recognized in this regard as at 31st/3/2020. So they categorized it as a provision. They know there is going to be a problem, so they made a provision. Okay. They made a provision on 31st/3/2020. Then we move on to the sum. They are saying that on 15/5/2020, it was declared that the company should pay him, that he has put a case, but he should pay. How much they should pay? 550,000. Now, when is this statement is giving to authorization? 15/6/20, and this is happening in between this period. Now, let me move on to the sum again. You all know the year in balance. So I'll write here. This value I'll write here. Yeah. The year ends on 31st. Okay. Give me a second, guys. It went so up. So you all know the year ends on 31st/3/2020. They made a provision on 31st/3/2020, but it was informed that he need to pay an amount of 550,000 on 15th/5. So the authorization of financial statement is on 15/6/2020. When you see this adjustment, what do you understand? One particular thing you need to know when you are doing this: how do you consider it is important thing to adjust it or not when there's a verdict? Certain past people. So here they have saved 250,000. This is a part of other expenses. So what I will do is I will take this 800,000 under other expenses. All right. Provisions made was, how much we made. Provisions. How can I write? For claim. I'll write it as provision for claim. $800. And how much you need to deduct? How much you actually paid? 550. Sorry guys, I'm doing it in the wrong way. Actually, 800 is the minus value you have taken, because that's the concern which we are allocated. But actually, I have the expenses was 550. As why I'm deducting this 800, the reason, it's a provision. When you are taking a provision, it's a credit. When you take a credit entry for other expenses, it is always on the minus figure. And you're claiming, actually claim, how much is the claim compensation which can be claimed in future? It's, I can say it as a good term for this, revise claim 550. So this is the actual amount. So there's a difference of 250 everlasting on this particular thing. So this the 250 is deducted under the other expense. The reason, guys, if I compare this 800 to 850, there's a 250, right? This 250 is deducted under the expense. The reason, they have allocated a budget more than their expenses, so it's an income. Either you gotta show it under income, but I feel like you can do it in the other expense itself. Why you should show it under income? That's the reason I didn't show it. And the 550 is not given on this year end. And if you can see, this 550 is paid on the year end. You might see after the year end. So which means this is not related to this particular period. So because our year is ending on 31st 3, so it's not related to this particular period. It is relevant to the next year. So I will take this 550,000 under current liabilities. How will I take, guys? Rather than saying current liabilities, I will start writing in my notes. So as my notes, as I took notes for other papers, I think I kept here. I'll write here as yeah, you can take it as a, now there's a question someone is asking, is 250, do I need to consider it as an income because we saved 250? That's the reason I'm deducting that entire thing from expense. I'm setting off, rather than putting an income, I'm setting off that 250 in the expense itself. If you want, you can put a other income column and you can do it, but I feel like if you can set off in the other expense itself, why you should go and put it on other income? If you don't have amount to set off fully, you should go to other income. If you can set it off at other expense. Then we move on to the next part of the sum. Lease adjustment. A very big adjustment which we are going to do now. I'm going to move on to the question. Okay, I want you guys to focus. The company entered into a lease agreement on 1st 3rd 2020 to obtain the right of use of a building for a period of 4 years. However, this building was available for use from 31st 3rd 2020 after spending rupees 500,000 for renovation. This renovation is expected to generate benefits to the company over the entire lease period. However, this amount has been accounted in the other administrative expense. So this renovation is a capital expenditure. I taught you on the first class what is capital expenditure and revenue expenditure. Capital expenditure is something you are adding to the non-current asset. That cannot be taken as a revenue expenditure. Revenue expenditures are like expenses which is related to the day-to-day of the business. In the company, profit and loss account shows the revenue expenditure. Capital accounts, which is non-current assets, will always have capitalization, which means non-current assets will have capital expenditure, where you will increase the level of the value of non-current asset. Now this 500,000 renovation is actually increment in the value. So here I will be able to consider this 500,000 as an increment in value. So I need to know how to record this under right to use assets adjustment. So I'll teach you how to do right to use adjustment today. This renovation is expected to generate benefits to the company over entire lease period. However, this amount has been accounted in order to administrative expenses. Lease interest is not charged during the renovation period. According to the agreement, an annual lease rental 4,413,000 is payable from 31st 3rd 2021. The lease interest applicable for the year ending 31st 3rd 2021 is 1,890,000. So they are given the next year's amount of lease installment and the interest. So we can find the current liability out of this. We found, how did we find that? Then we can also find the non-current liability. So I'm going to do the adjustment first of all. So let's start with the right of use asset. So I'm going to move on to the note for I left a note for do this adjustment because I know there's a adjustment in this. If you do not know that there will be a note right to use adjustment, don't worry guys. Even if you do on the fourth or fifth note, it's not a problem. Here I am taking right to use asset. So first I'll take the value of the asset, guys. You all know the value, the building. It's 12,600. So I'm going to take 12,600 here. Or taking this, I need few more adjustments to do. So actually my balance is this one, guys. So I'll write my balance. How much is my balance? I can write brought forward balance. Then I have renovation, additions. I'll make it as renovation. Renovation is 500. So in total, the cost is how much, guys? 13,100. Because in non-current asset increment, as I said, it's a capital expenditure. You can't take it as a revenue expenditure. Then, okay, so once after writing this, please write the amount under non-current asset right to use asset 13,100. So can you do right to use assets once again, please? Of course I can do. How did I take this? I went to my right to use asset, this value 12,600. I got this from here. They are given because it's an asset, non-current asset. I took this 12,600. I transferred it into the right to use asset account here. I didn't do it under property plant equipment because it's a different adjustment. You can't take it because it's under lease. Then we have renovation. We made a renovation here. They are saying it in the question. How did this final renovation came? In the question, they said particularly that they made a renovation 500,000. So that's the reason I added this 500,000. Now there's another problem. This 500 is an interest. They have taken it as administrative expenses. I need to go and remove it off. So then I'm going to move on to the workings. In workings, I'm going to move on to my administrative expenses as administrative expenses. I'll remove here 500 because this cannot be, this is a renovation charge and you can't keep renovation charge under administrative expenses. Abdurrahman. So they have given 5% depreciation on building now. Won't that imply on right to use assets? No, it won't imply to the right to use assets. If they are giving for right to use assets, they will inform how many percentage for that particular thing because it's a lease adjustment. On yesterday's we did because it was not a right to use asset. It was directly a motor vehicle. They said it's a lorry. So here they are not saying because there's a renovation happening and that value is also not applicable because they are still keeping it in liability. And still you must see this how this building was available for use. Still you used the building. That's another reason we didn't go with the health. You can say that building held for sale. This is not that tested in your deeper, but for your knowledge, you need to have understanding that if a building has been taken in lease and it is on renovation, it's still not in use, then of course we can't take the percentage which they are given on the sum. It's an assumption. So then we move on to the next part of the sum. Good questions you guys are asking, man. So I'm gonna reverse this as renovation. Or I can also say another term, I can also say direct cost of the lease. Why is the direct cost of the lease, guys? Because whatever you are adding to the lease object, you have taken it as a what to say, you have taken it as a administration expense. So now I will keep then and there. I am almost done with the adjustment. So after doing this adjustment, guys, what we need to do? Easy. We need to go down. So we are done almost with this adjustment. I'm going to start with the, now only I'm going to start the adjustment. So working number 11 for my preference. What did I do? Now lease installment, what I'm going to teach you. So now earlier, I'm going to put some notes what we have done already. We took note for right to use asset. We did this adjustment. Then reduced 500 from administration cost as it is a renovation expense. Capital expenditure cannot be taken under revenue expenditure. Understand, guys, every reason, everything in accounting has a reason, and you need to follow the reason. Okay, so now I have lease installment. I'm going to move on to my lease installment and explain how it works. Now you guys know next year's lease installment they are given on the question. How much they are given on the question? 4,413,000 is payable from 31st 3 2023. So I'll take my next year's lease installment first of all. So lease installment for next year. How much was the lease installment? 4,413,000 if I'm not mistaken. Right? 4,413,000. What is the interest applicable for the next year? 1,890,000. The same way which we did yesterday. Interest 1,819,000. So what I will do, I need to find my current liability. I took my 4,413,000. 13,000 divided by 1,819,000. This is giving my the balance which I need to pay next year, which is the current liability. So how much is the current liability, guys? How much? It is 4,413,000 minus 1,819,000. If I deduct, I get 2,500 and something is wrong somewhere. Okay, so many of you all have understood. Please put your comments, guys. Did you all understand? Can I move on to the income tax, the last adjustment? So I have only slight adjustments to be made in this. Now I need to take this two liabilities. One is current liability and where do I take? I take it under statement of financial position. Current liability, I say it as lease. I won't put lease creditor, or even if you put lease credit, it's fine, guys. Lease, how much is the lease amount? Or you can write lease liability, whatever you guys prefer. Okay. It's liability. So I'll write here 2523 and here lease liability 10,077. These are the two things which I did now. Then we have workings. We are done with this adjustment. Yes. Almost everything is done. Now I'm moving on to the last adjustment of the sum. We have the income tax paid during the year includes 520,000 paid with respect to the previous year. Income tax liability for the year ending 31st 3 2020 has been estimated as 650,000. The same adjustment which we did yesterday. They are saying that in the year they are paid like income tax paid during the year includes 520,000 paid with respect to the previous year. So for the previous year, you are paid amount of 520,000, and this particular year, how much you are paid? Actually, you have paid income tax of 1,250,000. Do you have any provisions? Of course, you get the provision. I can do the same adjustment through income tax. I'll move on to my income statement. Note number 2. If you want, you can do with a, you can open up an account and do T account. Both ways I taught you guys yesterday. So I'll open up this. Then I'll open up the T account. Now the brought forward balance of the income tax they are given. Provision account 400. Carried down they are given it as 650. Yeah. They have said in the question 400 is the income tax paid on the beginning of the year. So that is 400. And they have the last value which they are given on the sum 650,000. So 650,000 is the money which they are paying at the end of the year. That's the reason I took it on the credit side. Now you might ask, do I need to pay take the income tax paid actual amount? Actually, here they are paying a income tax paid how much? 1,250. As already you took 650 here. I'm not yet done with the sum. I have one more adjustment actually, because the tax paid was higher than what we expected. I'll explain you that how it works. Now this is done almost. So I'm going to take this 770 here on the income statement. 770 as tax paid. Now this is done 770, but there's one more adjustment to be done, guys. What is that adjustment we need to do? Now once we have done 770. So I need to do the next note number 5, which I kept to do here, guys. Other receivables. How come it becomes other receivable? Because I felt like I paid more than excess in what now. For example, here they are given 1,170 only the incurred amount, right? 520 is the last year. This year 650. So 1,170 is the incurred amount. But actually I have paid 1,250. How do you know? Total tax paid. You might go to the sum. Here on the sum, here you can see how much we have actually paid. What is the actual amount we have paid? 1,250. So this 1,250 is the one I should represent here. See here. Then I know that I have spent less than that. Now this is the entire thing which they have paid for the particular year. So we have paid less when it comes to the particular. It should be less, but we have paid more. Then I can write in this way. Provision. I can also like this way. Provision is 770 for current year. You can take both ways, guys. Answer is going to be the same. Okay, now you got provision for current year 770. I'm going to deduct this from know how much I paid in excess. Then I have balance brought forward, balance asset first for 2019. Deducted, guys, 400. So I get a balance of 80. So I have paid more than the amount. Actually, the entire year I had the balance of 1170, but actually I paid, even I could have taken like this. 1170 is the total balance they had, but actually I have paid 1250, which means 80 I have paid in excess. This paid excess is what we say as prepayment. So where do I record this prepayment? Where do I record this prepayment, guys? I will move on to my statement of financial position and record it under current assets, because prepaid expense comes under current assets. I taught you some sort of magic box, other current, other receivables. Note number 5. So how much? 80. So I recorded that also. Just have a look on what I have done. Take 1 minute and do it fast. Now you might have doubts, right, guys? Ask me, I'll explain you why. Actually, guys, I calculated the 770. You guys already know how I got the 770. After getting that, I understood that this amount, what they have paid, what for the particular year they have taken is less than the amount what they have paid. That's the reason we, when we calculated this and saw, we got 80, which is a prepayment. that the prepayment should be transferred into statement of financial position on the current assets. So guys, are you all done? But then we'll finalize the accounts, guys. Yeah, we'll finalize this accounts. Okay, so we are almost done with everything. Done and dusted. So now it's time to finalize everything. We're gonna see what are the values. We're gonna close down. We'll go one by one. Let's move on to the trial balance, guys. I'll start with the trial balance. Now we're gonna finalize the sum. Yeah, just see what we have missed and what we have not missed. Property, plant and equipment done. Right to use asset done. Sales done. Cost of sales done. So we move on to the next part of the sum. It says you got 5,487. Let me, yeah, write 5,487 administrative expense on the income statement. So I'll take it on the income statement. $5,487. But then we have, take it as a reduction, guys. What do you have? I'm finalizing distribution expenses. Got 5,600 plus 350 plus 1,100 minus 1,550. 5,500 as distribution expenses. So I'm taking distribution expenses to the books of accounts. Income statement will have, okay, we'll finalize other expenses also. We'll move on to workings. So we got 1,000, 500, 1,000, then minus 800 plus 550. 2,250 are the expenses. Done, great. We are doing it great. So 2,250. I'm going to move on to my income statement. Reduce 2,250. Okay. Lease interest, we removed it from the administrative expenses. Here, under workings, I can show you. So you're asking that other lease interest. Okay, I got it. This lease interest you're asking. This lease interest we don't take into the books of accounts because this is for next year. They are giving. They are note 6. Say administrative payable. So got 300. I'll finalize this also. So that's all we have on the books. We got 800. So I'll transfer this note 6 to what to say, this note 6 amount. This amount I'll be transferring into the statement of financial position. Note 6, 800. Recorded, done. Then what do we have? Almost everything is done now. I can finalize the sum. Did I miss anything? So could please show the expenses working again? Of course I can do. I'll move on, not be more Ashraf. I'll move on, right? Okay. I hope you had a good view on this. So now I move on to my income statement. Note. Let me finalize the note. It's 850. Then we have statement of financial position, other payables 850. Then we have finalized the income statement. Let me find the other profit before tax. So got 51. No other income. I'll take other income. So 51,038 from 79,000. So this should be deduction. The bracket value. So you got 79,000 minus 51,038. 130,000. Sorry. Plus. Already deduction. So I have taken 27,962. Then we have well guys done then. We have almost done all the things. Then we are transferring this 8,555 to change in equity to finalize the return earnings. So we get these two values together. We get 5,055. Sorry. We don't take 8,555 guys. We take this value 12,055 profit for the period only. We transfer to the change in equity. So 12,055. So when you deduct this minus get 8,555. The total you will show here 42,000. Okay, guys. Then we move on. We finalize the change in equity is done. Everyone is done. Okay, then we move on to the next part. So we have stated capital. We will bring the 25,000 here. Then revaluation. Actually, we got a minus value. So we got 0 there. Then return earnings 12,055. This should be a dash. So I got 25,000, 12,055, 42,075, 55. Give me a second. 17,705. Should be 17,705. I'm sorry. $17,705. So you got 42,705. Okay, thanks guys. Then we move on to the next part. I think I'll finalize this part then. Got 45 plus 13,100, 58,675. Got 6,750, 13,480. And you get this value 72,155. We mean took these values. Let me make it small so you'll have a full view on what I'm doing. 10,077, I'll take this side. I got 19,373. So here I have a total value 42,705. Answer is balancing.